Hi there, Loy Machedo. Speaking to you from loymachedo.com. Who's Loy Machedo? Think personal branding. Okay, um, this is a question about steroid usage for youngsters at the age of 19. And how did it come about was I have this WhatsApp group where I have many youngsters who are there, 19, 20 and above. There's a separate group. So one of them happened to see a photograph of mine where I was really buff and big. And no sooner he saw that, they started, almost everyone jumped in and started chiming about steroid usage. Should they use it? Should they not use it? What are the plus and minus? Do I recommend little bit? So I thought I would answer this question in this video about youngsters using steroids. Now, before I do give you my thoughts, please remember I'm not a medical professional. This is not a medical channel. And I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just going to give you my point of view, which can be wrong. Okay, which can be wrong. So, but it has, what I'm sharing is my experience. So, if you are planning to get into it, please take professional advice. Okay, having got that out of the way, uh, see, for boys, for boys or men, we always like to be strong. We always like to, and especially when you see Hollywood, you see Arnold, or you see Chris Hemsworth, or you see Marvel Avengers, you see the Hulk, you see all these characters, you see boxing, you see UFC, MMA, you see these guys with chest and shoulders and arms, and you see film actors, and it looks amazing. They have their six pack and they have big muscles, and obviously we all men, we like to be big and buffed up and strong. And we also know that girls like guys who look attractive physically also. Okay. So now, given that, we most of us go to the gym. But now, having gone to the gym, there are two options. Either you do it naturally or you do it with, using steroids. Now, the problem is in today's social media age, there is so many videos, so many photographs, so much of free advice. People get lost. Now, I know why this question comes. Should I use steroids or not? Because if a person does it naturally, maybe he'll have to do it for 4 years, 5 years, maybe 10 years to get a result. The same result you can get with steroids in a year. Okay. Now, when people hear that, oh, sheesh, man, I can get the same results in 1 year or 6 months, even 6 months. Okay. So now people, especially youngsters, they think, oh, bloody hell, why not? I'll achieve my goal within 6 months. But, wait. Why I don't recommend using steroids? Me, a guy who has used steroids in his life. See, like for example, let's say I'm drinking coffee right now. I'm drinking coffee. Okay. Let's say it's a very strong coffee. Now, if I were to drink coffee, it'll make me very alert. It'll make me very sharp. Okay. Fine. Amazing. I can perform very well. I can pay attention. I can do a good job, whatever work I'm doing. However, that coffee high that I got will be there, stay, and as time passes by, it goes down, 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 and very soon the effect wears off. And after that, remember, the body has a habit of compensating the extra with so because you went so high, it will come crashing down, just like sugar. The rush of sugar. If you have a lot of sugar, you feel, hey, great. But then after that, you feel, ah, shit. Even with alcohol, people drink and they get high, but next day there's a massive hangover. Okay. So even with steroids, whatever goes up, strength, testosterone, whatever, it has to come down. So if now, understand this much. If your testosterone was at level 100, and you took steroids and you push it to 120 or 150, the body will realize, sheesh, man, I'm producing 50 more. Maybe it's time we really bring it down a notch. So if you were at normal was 100, you pushed it to 150, the body says, there's 50 of excess. Let's go down to 100. Let's bring it down. So it pushes it down to 100. And by the time you stop the exogenous, the external steroid, it was supposed to come down to 100, right? But now the body is also brought it down to 50 less. So now from 100, it'll go back to 50. You're at 100, you push it to 150, body push it down to 100, and then you stop taking the steroid, it comes down to 50. So the body always works trying to balance things out. Then once it goes down to 50, then the body, oh, sheesh, man, we are too low. We need to produce more. Then that takes time. Okay. So that is where if a person takes steroids and the person stops, after some time, the effect completely wears off. And that is why you see big bodybuilders or big wrestlers or even they'll not remain big forever. Okay, that's one. Then the second question comes, Loy, can I just take maybe 1 month and stop? It's like saying, it's like, for example, if you take coffee, you just take 1 spoon, you get high and stop. It's a waste. It's a total waste. It's pointless. It's like saying to yourself, like, imagine, it's like having a car. It's like having a car. You put, just a cap full of petrol. You'll travel somewhere and you'll stop, right? Then what did you get? You got the experience, but it's a total waste of money. Okay. Number 3 is, if, let's say, you're planning to go for it, you only are thinking about the steroids. You're not thinking about the training, the nutrition, the rest, the training program, the food. All this is so expensive. All this comes together. And remember this, if you take steroids and you do the wrong training, you'll get the wrong results more and faster. Like, for example, if you were to eat wrong food when taking steroids, you'll become fatter even more faster and even maybe more permanent. Okay. For me, the drawbacks that I faced with steroids, I didn't have balding, I didn't have rash. And sometimes you'll see those articles online which are too extreme. Oh, you got this rash. No, it's not going to happen. But what I experienced was my appetite increased tremendously because as it is, I used to love food, and now my body could take in more food. So I was eating a lot more and putting on a lot more weight. My testosterone obviously jumped high, which was why I was hyper about sex and all that. But then it permanently affected it and brought it down very low. Number 3 is, because of taking steroids, I was able to push more weights and be more strong. And then your ego comes in and you start lifting super heavy because you can't grow if you don't take heavy weights. It really affected my joints, my wrists, my elbows, my shoulders, my knees, my lower back, all used to pain. Okay. And next one is, because your weight increases. Remember, in college days, I was 55. Then I jumped to 70. With bodybuilding, went to 80, then 90. I always wanted to be big, 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 big. Finally, it came down to a part where I was, I think, after stopping bodybuilding, I was at 100. I ballooned up to 125. I couldn't breathe. I really couldn't breathe. It was so heavy on my body. I was struggling to breathe. I had cholesterol. Cholesterol is another problem that you get with taking steroids. And, my whole physiology got destroyed, man. It was not worth it. So overall, when you check the plus and the minus, yes, the plus, big muscles, look attractive, look handsome, a lot of girls. Okay. But the drawback to it is even far more greater. And many a times it can be permanent. Even if it's small, it can be permanent. And here's the biggest thing of all. Why are you doing it? Are you doing it for your ego? Are you doing it for showing off? Yeah, it feels good. Let's be honest, it feels good showing an Instagram photograph. Oh, you have these muscles, you have these abs. Girls will look at you, guys will respect you. You'll be that alpha male. But then, is it worth all the money, all the effort, all this? Because end of the day, remember, like one of my friends told me, gym guys, girls don't go for 21-inch arms. Girls want a 21-inch paycheck. Okay. And last and not the least, if you're getting into it, how long can you do it until which your priorities change or you decide to stop? And the day you stop, all that you did, the gains will come down to zero. For me, all the hours that I spend in the gym, all the money that I spend for steroids, all the stuff, it all went to waste. Completely waste. 3 hours in the gym, thousands of dollars on steroids, so much money on food, so much money on therapy, so much money on even medical treatment to treat all these problems. everything. It was a, end of the day, it was an experience. Yes, it's a experience, but then the price to pay was too high. So that's why with youngsters, I tell them, listen, man, you don't need it. It's good for attention. It's good for standing out. It'll be a phase, but then it's a phase that you'll waste everything. So I would say, me personally, I would say, please don't use it. Please don't. You don't need it. Okay. Get yourself involved in some sport. Yes, you may never have big muscles. Yes, you may have just normal. Go to a coach. Instead of spending money on steroids, rather go to a proper coach. That would be much more worth it. Okay. Don't get into the steroids. And supplements also, they waste your time because many fake supplements are there. So it's better to go with someone who has experience in this, years of experience, and is professional, not a big buffed up guy who has taken injections. They also are dumb. Go to a qualified guy. It might be expensive, but it'll be worth it. So this is my experience with steroids. I wouldn't recommend it for youngsters, and especially when you're 19, man. Come on. 19, 20, don't do it. Don't do it. You will regret it for the rest of your life. So that's what I would advise you. But end of the day, it's your life. You need to do what you want. But remember, you'll pay a price for it. So my advice, please don't go for it. But then again, if you're determined, remember, it's not just the steroids. Exercise, nutrition, food, supplements, rest, a training program. And on top of that, after all this, you need to continue this for very many years. And maybe you'll have to even take medicine to ward off the negative drawbacks of this action that you've taken. Good, bad, ugly. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is me signing off. You guys take care.